So now it puts us in a weird place because now we are in effectively a suspension. And the way our season works, I'm going to explain it real quick, but the way our season works is we're supposed to have one season that ends in June, which originally had playoffs at the end of it. And then the next season, which starts in like late July, early August, that goes up until November. So now, with the suspension, now we're pushed back to where we have to reschedule those games that we're going to miss at the beginning. We're going to schedule them at the tail end of the season. And then that pushes, I don't know, does that push the next season back a little bit?
It has to. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to fit all unless you play 2 games a week?
Right. But even then, I think it'll be, then that means there won't really be a break in between the seasons. You'll just go straight into the next
Unless
one.
they take playoffs out from both.
Yeah. So I think the league is trying to figure it out. Nobody's worked on a solution yet. And the problem, the worst part of it all is the fact that it keeps changing. Like literally every single day there's new information where it's like, okay, well now instead of 4 weeks, now it's going to be 8 weeks. And then
it's day to day.
It's day to day.
You never really know.
Yeah.
Like all these states around us are like closing everything down.
I've never watched the news as much as I have now.
I'm like your journalist. I'm
Yeah.
your number one source.
Georgie, I wake up and I have like 10 messages from Georgie with the latest news information about all sorts of stuff. What's closing down, what states are closing what. I don't even have to look at the news because Georgie's screenshots everything for me and just sends it to me in a message.
LA Fitness closed. That's it. Can't go to the gym no
No,
more.
they haven't closed yet.
Oh, yeah, they're closed.
They're not closed.
Oh, yeah.
I'm about to go later.
They're
going to be
closed.
open.
Nope.
I checked everywhere. LA Fitness is not closed yet.
The governor.
Well, by the time this comes
Yeah.
out, it's probably going to be closed. I'm not going to lie. But I can say the way it's affected us is the fact that simply we went from having a season to not having a season. So now as athletes, the biggest issue is you guys have to stay in somewhat of good shape because if the season does start as early as they say it's going to start, if you guys just stop doing everything and you guys go back into that, now we are risking injuries. Now we have to go back into a preseason. So right now we're trying to keep you guys in shape. But if it does get pushed back even further, is there really a point of the guys training as hard as they've been training for 8 weeks? Because that's just mentally burning out. You're going to burn out like that.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about it mentally, like you said, it was the hardest preseason we've had. And 2-a-days and for like 2-3 weeks, we went so hard. And then having the first game was like, finally, the season starts.
Yeah.
And then having that 3-week break again where we had to wait for a game to come. And then as we were getting closer to the second game, everything got pushed back due to coronavirus. So now, like, it's more of like a mental game again, like to, stay in shape and like prepare yourself and keep going. Now you have to be on your own. Like we can't train as a team because that's like the rules now. Like we're not allowed to be doing that, just like everybody else. So, it like groups of 5 or 10 people or less or something.
I think at the moment it's just less than 50 people gathering and stuff like that. But yeah, you don't want to put yourselves at unnecessary risk. And it's not necessarily that, but it's the fact that are you going to train? Are you really going to want to train for 8 weeks without playing games?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like nobody even knows like when we're going to start. So you can't really like put together a plan to be ready for the game that's coming up because you never know when we're going to start. So.
Yeah. I think it's important that you guys recognize as professional athletes, you guys have to stay in shape all year round. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying go eat a lot of food and get fat and stuff. But at the same time, you can't train like you would as if you're in season for 8 weeks or 4 weeks or however long it is. But yeah, that's the weird part about our season is that our first game was on the 28th of February. And then the next game was supposed to be March 21st. Yeah. So even without the suspension, we had a 3-week break in between. So we'd already been training for about 2 weeks, preparing for the next game, which was going to be in a week. And then now here comes the suspension. So now we're at 4 weeks, 4 extra weeks. So now it's 6 weeks without playing a game. And then if they say 8 weeks, now that's another 4 weeks. Now that's 10 weeks without playing a game. So obviously there's a lot of ways you can look at it. I know different teams are doing different things. Some teams don't want their players to leave. They don't want them to like go travel, fly out and fly back in because that's against everything that they're telling you to do. But at the same time, you can't ask your players to just stay locked in and not go anywhere if you have that long of a break, especially because a lot of these guys have families, right?
Yeah. So like, especially if it's 8 weeks or 10 weeks or 12 weeks, however long it's going to be, like you can't expect someone to just stay here and be without their family and kind of do nothing and just stay inside. So it's a bit tough. It's a weird situation. I mean, nobody's been through it. So it's kind of like learn as you go type of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think people should be doing, especially like professional athletes? right now in this time?
I mean, everybody's on Twitch, man. Everybody's on Twitch. I mean, all the NBA players are like on Twitch. Like they're not, I mean, obviously they might be training on their own or doing whatever. Like I feel like everybody's probably going to try and do something on their own, like in this like period of time. Like I don't think teams are going to be training. But you should stay in somewhat of a shape, like just for your own sake. Like I was telling you earlier, like the mental side and the physical side, once you do get in shape, and then if you have to sit out and get out of shape and then force yourself to get back into shape, that's like, it's just too much. So I mean, at least for me, it's like I might as well just keep it up, maybe like train 3-4 times a week and go on a run or whatever, and kind of stay in somewhat of shape rather than just sit at home and do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I think that's important, is that you guys, we're definitely telling you guys that you guys need to stay in shape. It's not like, oh, just go on a vacation and then when we come back we'll start preseason. You guys are professional athletes, so you guys should be doing things to maintain and to stay in good shape. But at the same time, we're not going to require that you guys are in as good a shape as you were during the season, because it's naturally not going to be able to happen, because you're not training in a team setting for 2, 3, 4 hours a day like we were, especially when we were doing 2-a-days. But that just shows the professionalism of the player, is how many of you guys are going to be able to stay in shape and keep doing what you're doing. And it's not even just like going to the gym, because now like even that, you can't even go to the gym sometimes. Like some of these you can't even go to the gym, so you have to be careful. But I think you guys as professional athletes, definitely we're asking you guys to stay in, to maintain and, you know, be professional about it. Don't go crazy and eat all the cake in the world. But yeah, it's a tough situation, man. And it puts us at a weird place. It puts me in a weird place, because I'll be honest, the last few days, even, it's only been, how long has it been since we
3 days?
3-4 days, and I'm already going crazy over here. I'm like stuck at home. I need to get my coaching fix. Like I need to be out there coaching. The daily routine of it all is the best part, because like, I don't know, when you're in a routine like that, to just break it and say, okay, you got nothing to do. You're just like, well, I'm just sitting at home. Like me, I live by myself at home, right? Like what do? Do I just watch TV all day? Try to make YouTube videos? Yeah. What am I going to make YouTube videos on? I can't really go out and train. I mean, I can, but like can't go out with a lot of players and train and show training sessions like that. So it's weird, because you're stuck in a really, really weird place. But I think the important thing is to understand that it is a very serious thing that's happening, regardless of what some people believe. There are people who are getting sick and people who are dying, so you have to be careful. And the one thing that I think is important is, or more important than most things, is the fact that for young people like us, we're probably going to be fine. If we do get it, we'll have a really bad fever and all those symptoms, but we're probably going to make it. But it's the fact that if we carry it, and even if we're going to be okay, if we get into contact with people who are maybe elderly or their immune systems are not as strong, then we can put them at risk. So that's the biggest thing. It's not necessarily for yourself, but it's for the people who are most at risk.
And I think, like, speaking about that, is just people are not really, like you said, they're not really taking it as serious as it probably should be. Like you see all those videos like on social media, like people are still on the beaches and people are going to the clubs and people are just, you know, trying to still live their life. Like, you know, a bunch of colleges, universities closed down, and they're all, like, all the students, instead of being in the school, which is their whole point, like go home, stay like isolated, kind of maybe 2-3 people or whatever, they're out partying. So like, just like that is going to keep spreading until more drastic measures are probably going to get placed on us and we can't leave the house or whatever. But yeah, it's something that everybody's kind of, it's a day by day thing. Like, we're all learning as we go. Like, we don't know, like, the situations everywhere else. Like, we've never been through, I don't think we've ever been through something like this, to be honest. Like, we had the swine flu, Ebola, whatever, but it's never been this like, it's never been to this point to where, like, people are fighting over, like, toilet paper. Like, that's, like, insane. And you just, you know, be a good human being and, you know, worry about other people instead of just for yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that.